Today on Locked On Rockies, well, another bad start, falling behind early, and the Tigers handled business against the Rockies. The bad run differential, the bad pitching, it's a little bit frustrating even with the context of where the Rockies are at this season.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 12th day of September in the year 2024. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, guess what? You're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here each and every day. Free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. Every time you like the videos, every time you subscribe to the videos, every time you join up with us and hang out with us here on the Locked On Rockies podcast, we really do appreciate it. So thank you so much. Really, really do appreciate y'all checking us out and hanging out with us here. Today, we're going to wrap up game 2 of the series, and really hoping that the Rockies pull off the upset today, which I don't have a lot of confidence in them doing that. But let's dive into that. Let's dive into the game last night. Let's dive into situations with the Rockies. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. Let's take a look at run differential as well. Before we dive into everything today, today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB to win $50 instantly when you play $5. So I'm going to start the show off here with a couple of tweets from Patrick Saunders here, because there was at least some good news. At least Tovar makes a little bit of history here for the Rockies. Let's see here. I want to go through a couple of them. Okay. Patrick Saunders here. Rockies' worst run differential in franchise history was last season with minus 236. They entered tonight's game at minus 225. Okay, so minus 225. And so that means now they're up to minus 228 after going minus 3 yesterday. That's the big thing right here. And it's something we haven't talked about enough. When we're talking about the struggles, when we're talking about how far the Rockies have been behind, we can't just focus on the pitching. We can't just focus on one area. The Rockies don't score. The Rockies offense is not good enough. The Rockies offense has not performed the duty that it needs to do, which is make up for the lack of pitching, home or away. And that matters. And it's again, it's not like the Rockies are close. Pardon me. Are close in run differential. The Rockies have the second worst run differential in all of baseball and would have the first by a mile if it wasn't for the White Sox being one of the worst teams in baseball history. So these type of things, it's these type of things that get you frustrated. It's these type of things that get you saying, are we really invested in some of the veterans? Are we really buying fully into some of the offensive options for this team? And are we fully confident that the pieces on this team are going to be good enough to get it to the next level? Ezekiel Tovar is good enough to get you to the next level. Brenton Doyle is good enough to get you to the next level. Michael Toglia has shown some signs of that. Brendan Rodgers and Ryan McMahon are good offensive players, but their lack of consistency, Rodgers in the first half of the season and McMahon throughout the season, depending on, the 2-week period that he's in, that has bubbled up into a problem that is massive. Outscored by over 200 runs, over 250 runs, minus 255. That is atrocious. That is horrible. And again, you can sit and the pitching plays a huge factor in that. Absolutely. But it doesn't do the pitchers any favor when the Rockies put up constant goose eggs, when the Rockies get blown out of the water. That's, a lot of that does have to go with the pitching. the defense isn't giving up the runs. But the point is, the Rockies as a whole have a lot of issues. A lot of issues. I want to try to, I just want to get the, man, why is ESPN being so hard to find here? Let's see. Team batting. Or isn't this one? All right, hold on. Sorry. All right, there we go. Team run differential. Here we go. The Rockies, minus 228 here. Next is 197, the Miami Marlins. Then 128. Only 4 teams in all of baseball have a run differential in the triple digits. The Angels, the Marlins, the Rockies, and the White Sox. The Rockies have to stop being so bad. And so bad on the road. Holy smokes. The Rockies are minus 41 at home when it comes to run differential. On the road, minus 187. 187. That is not just pitching. That is anemic offense. That is not getting the job done. And the Rockies got 2 opportunities yesterday, or in the past 2 games against, yes, a good Tigers team, but Tigers pitchers that have been struggling of late. So it circles back. Preparation. What was missing for the Rockies when getting ready to go in here? Because, man, the Tigers had the tape. They were like, 2 rookie young pitchers. We're coming in. We're going to feast. We're going to dominate. And then the Rockies offense has been nowhere to be found. The Rockies have scored 4 runs in 2 series. They've been outscored 18-4 in 2 games, with now the American League Cy Young favorite to go. Right after you're not showing the tooth and nail fight. You're not showing the same type of fight that you showed in the previous 2 series. Consistency. How many times have we preached that over and over and over and over again? This is a Rockies team that has been that for the past few series, dating back to even to the Marlins mistake again, I'd been going after in most of these games. There was only one game really out there that the Rockies were thoroughly dominated in that Orioles game, but it's a shutout against the Braves. It's a shutout against the Tigers. It's not hard to go back and find shutouts or games where the Rockies are getting absolutely decimated. So yes, it was good to see some offense bounce back yesterday. Yes, it was good to see some life late. But the numbers tell the story. The numbers tell the situation. You can't just sit here and believe that where the Rockies are at right now is going to be the best for the future. And I know that, well, I hope it's not the case. But when you see that these negative run differentials, when you see this, and when you see, and when you think about some of the veteran players you have on the roster, kind of changes the question of what you think you're going to do. The offense isn't good enough. The offense hasn't been good enough in years. The offense has been declining. And yes, I understand how many young guys are playing. I completely understand that. And it's a tough game. But I'm also seeing the Rockies on track to break their franchise record in negative run differential. They've already broken the record of most games trailed to start a season. They're on track to have a worse record than last year unless they start. This gut check. This is a gut check. And the Rockies again went out on the road and have gotten dominated. And again, this so much just circles back to the same stuff. We're going to hear the same type of spin from the front office, not who refuses to spend actual time looking into the anomalies of home and away for the Colorado Rockies. Remember, minus 187 on the road. Run differential, minus 187. Minus 187 on the road is still the third worst run differential in all of baseball. The Rockies' just road run differential is the second worst run differential in all of baseball. That is worse than Miami. That is worse than the Angels. That is worse than Oakland. That is worse than Washington. The Rockies are lucky the White Sox exist. Or else the Rockies would be the laughing. I mean, for the people that have played them, or else the Rockies would be the laughing stock this year. More so than they already are. Minus 187. In case you're curious what good run differentials are, the Yankees plus 124, Milwaukee plus 124, Philly plus 124, the Dodgers plus 112, Arizona plus 102. You don't start getting into negative run differentials for teams that are fighting for the playoffs until you get to Atlanta and San Diego at -4. Or I'm sorry, that's just at home. That's the first time you see teams that have a negative run differential in any of their categories still up there. But it doesn't matter for all these other teams. Plus 91 on the road for the Yankees. Plus 75 on the road for Milwaukee. Plus 31 on the road for Philly. Plus 43 for the Dodgers. 44 for the Diamondbacks. Plus 40 for Kansas City. Plus 12 for Houston. Plus 52 for Baltimore. I think there's a little bit of a pattern, folks. You have to perform on the road to be a playoff team. And the Rockies are far, far from performing on the road, making them far from being playoff contenders. Let's take a quick break and let's talk about the stuff that we did like in the game last night, including the fact that Ezequiel Tovar is making history with the Rockies. Well, Rockies history, that is. We're going to do that and more coming up on segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, folks, got to tell you about those that help make this show possible, and that includes PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, all you do is just take on the numbers. No waiver, nobody taking that sneaky waiver wire pickup that you were hoping for. No one making you miss out on your big brain idea on your stat projections. PrizePicks got you covered. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. And what are your picks? Well, they're 2 to 6 player stat projections, more or less. Hits, walks, strikeouts, home runs, you name it. Check it out on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. We are also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and it is prime sports time, folks. We got baseball, we got football, we got WNBA. I think golf is still going on. NASCAR's still doing races. There's a lot of sports going on, not to mention, of course, the whole world of college football and XYZ. So much going on in the world of sports. So why not go check out America's #1 sportsbook and get in on the action? They got a little something different going on right now as well. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. And if that's not enough, be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's Double Your Winnings for all of Sunday. This Sunday's September 15th pregame moneyline bets. Profit Boost will be live starting today. View your account page now to learn more about your boost. Just visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Shout outs to all of our everydayers out there, and shout outs to all of you that subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out the videos over there. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with us here all season long. Home stretch of the season here, as we are wrapping up the Rockies' final game of this final road trip. The Rockies have one more road series, but not really a road trip, just a trip to California and back. Easy peasy, kind of, except the fact that it's the Dodgers. Hey, before we get too much further, want to thank you again for making us your first listen. Check out Locked On MLB for your second listen of the day. And SiriusXM, they got you covered all baseball season long. Not only your Rockies play-by-play, but lots more. Check it out on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Okay, there was at least one thing that we wanted to, that the positive highlight. Then we go back to Patrick Saunders' Twitter here. Doubles machine. Rockies' Ezequiel Tovar's 43 doubles are third most in the majors and most by a Rocky since Charlie Blackmon had 42 in 2019. His 43 doubles are a franchise record for doubles by a shortstop. His 43 doubles are most since Nolan Arenado's 43 in 2017. I might be frustrated, right? I might be frustrated with some of the other stuff. But the thing that fills me with the most confidence with this Rockies team and the future is Ezequiel Tovar. I love Brenton Doyle. I love a lot of the other things. I love some other things too. But Ezequiel Tovar has said the first time he stepped onto the field as a major leaguer, I feel like he's just understood the assignment. And he goes through hot and cold stretches, everyone does. But when we're talking about a young guy that was ready for the occasion, that was ready to do damage, that got better, Ezequiel Tovar is it. Ezequiel Tovar setting his name in Rockies history books in his second season, that's how we know he's special. When you are doing things that Trevor Story, Nolan Arenado, I mean, when you are doing, and Charlie Blackmon, those are Rockies legacy. Those are Rockies famous. Those are Rockies impact players. So when I see Ezequiel Tovar continue to be a dominant force for the Colorado Rockies, when I watch him again get a hit, when I watch him get doubles, when I watch him go up there and be someone that dominates the game, that Ezequiel Tovar is a game changer. And he's 23. He has been stellar this year. And going through tough stretches. Again, last 30 games from 221 average, 254 OBP, and a slugging of 434. Struck out 41 times in there as well. But he's still batting 268. He's still on top of the Rockies leaderboard when it comes to RBI. He still has 22 home runs. There is a world where he could be a 2010 player with 10 stolen bases. He's got 6 on the season. We'll see if he gets there. But when you're thinking about this is young Tovar. This is Tovar stepping into the big leagues for his second season. And a lot can change, certainly. But there's something about his approach. There's something about watching him play. There's something about when you focus in on Ezequiel Tovar that that's where the confidence grows. Amidst all of the struggles of the Rockies, amidst all of the issues, Tovar is one of those shining lights that continues to go through, because that guy, it's the accolades, while meaningless in the big picture of championship play, mean a lot if you're paying attention. Ezequiel Tovar doing things that we haven't seen since Arenado and Story means the Rockies could get offensive production from players that they haven't seen since Arenado and Story. That matters. We've talked about how the Rockies offense has declined. We've talked about how the Rockies offense has declined, especially post-playoffs. The post-playoff teams. Now you have a guy that's doing things that the best recent Rockies were doing. And that's a reason to be excited. That's a reason to be encouraged. Because the other thing that's good about Tovar is this is year 2, so he's done the rookie year. They had the tape on him. And now going into this season, he contributes again and performs again and can get better. 23 years old. When you're talking about getting close to athletic prime, he's not even close. He is the Rockies' difference maker. He has the potential to be a total franchise fixture. And it's amazing that it's at shortstop again. 1,200 at-bats in the major league for Ezequiel Tovar right now. 311 hits, 38 of those are home run, 141 RBI, 17 stolen bases, and his career average of 259, an OBP of 289, and an OPS of 722. Again, there are issues there, certainly. Is it the best ever? No. Is it great? Is it league leading? No. But that's solid performance, and that's a solid baseline in year 2 for a guy that also plays Gold Glove caliber defense. We know how important it is to hit doubles at Coors Field. We know how important it is for doubles to be a strength in your batting game. If Ezequiel Tovar is going to continue to just be an absolute doubles machine with 20-plus home run power, that's incredible. That's exciting. That's encouraging. Mixed in with the fact of the development of Brenton Doyle and him becoming an offensive threat, and Michael Toglia getting more comfortable at the major league level. Who knows what might happen if some of these other guys, if Nolan Jones can get himself back to where he was last year, if some of these other young guys, the Goodmans and such, can get a little more consistency in their game as well as the playing time, we might see more. But when I watch Tovar, that's the guy that I just. Him and Brenton Doyle are just the two guys that build the confidence back after you go through stretches like this for the Rockies. But it's a reminder, too, that they can't do it on their own. And they're not perfect. They're still young. They're still growing. They're still developing. There's still issues with the game, with their game. Absolutely. But at least you see the impact of Ezequiel Tovar. You see the impact of these young guys. And it's definitely felt in the locker room, sure. And when you are in company of breaking Trevor Story's record for most doubles in a season by a shortstop, when you are in company of most doubles since Nolan Arenado, when you are flirting with 50 doubles on the season, that's huge for the Rockies. It's massive, massive, massive for the Rockies. That is a huge development for them. Now they got to. This offseason is setting up a stage of building around some of these pieces and making the tough decisions about some other ones, and we'll see if the Rockies do that. All right, let's look ahead to one of the worst matchups the Rockies probably have this season in today's game, a little day game here, getaway for the final game of this road trip. Gonna give our last initial thoughts on the road trip. And wrap up this episode of Locked On Rockies. That's all coming up in segment number 3. Before we do that, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes TonaI. For those of us who thrive on getting stuff done, including workouts, every minute counts. That's why you need TonaI, the smart strength training system that takes the guesswork out of working out so you can make sure you're making the most out of every rep. When life gets busy, fitting in a workout can be stressful. With TonaI, you can get efficient workouts personalized for you and are available with the amount of time you have. TonaI is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps get you stronger. Powered by AI, TonaI learns with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. It's like having a personal trainer at home with you, as TonaI will optimize every workout just for you. Unlike traditional gym equipment, TonaI uses adaptive digital weight to advance your training techniques. From professional athletes to the mom of 3, TonaI is trusted by thousands who have become their strongest. Right now, TonaI is offering our listeners $200. Yes, $200 off your TonaI purchase with promo code LockedOnMLB. That's TonaI.com. Use promo code LockedOnMLB for $200 off your purchase. TonaI.com, promo code LockedOnMLB for $200 off. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast for free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. If your team is the Colorado Rockies, you are in the right spot because that's what we do around here. The 54-92 Colorado Rockies are looking to avoid heading home with a looming 100-loss record by breaking this 2-game skid they're on against the Tigers. Are they going to be successful? Well, I don't know. The Rockies offense has been anemic at best in this series, and then you're going up against Skubal, who is 16-4, 2.53 ERA, the whip of 0.95, over 174 innings pitched. He has struck out 208 batters and 33 walks in that time, and only 14 home runs. Ryan Feltner has pitched less innings, has allowed more walks, more home runs, and struck out over 80 less batters. If you're the Rockies, if you want to make if you're the Rockies and you're hoping for a little statement game, you're hoping for a little eyebrow raiser, you go out and you handle business today. But again, as we've talked about in Milwaukee, as we talked about with Atlanta, as we talked before, these are the type of games you have to be able to think that you can win if you want to be a playoff team. If you think that you can win the World Series, you have to be a team that can go in on the road feeling confident that you can take on one of the best pitchers in baseball. That doesn't fit for this Rockies team. And unfortunately, it's setting up the stage for another game in which the Rockies are going to look off balance and outmatched. I don't think the Rockies are prepared for this game. I don't think the Rockies' offensive approach, I don't think the philosophies, I don't think whatever they're showing them for Tigers pitching in this series has worked. The approach in this series has not worked, and now you're going up against one of the best in the business. So again, if you win this game and if you impress, that is a good sign. But in order for the Rockies to win this game, in order for the Rockies to have a chance today, it has to come with an adjustment. And I'm not confident that this Rockies team is going to see something on the tape. The coaching staff's going to see something on the tape. You have to go up there and you have to just see what you can do. There's only so much preparing you can do for a game like this, and especially in this stage of the season. So the real analysis here is how can the Rockies handle the best pitching in baseball? And they have not handled mediocre pitching from the Tigers in this series, from their mediocre pitchers. So sure, stave off the sweep by taking down the American League Cy Young. I'll believe it when I see it, though. And again, it's the road doesn't get too much easier. The Cubs are coming, and you got a homestand where teams are fighting tooth and nail to get into the playoffs. Sorry, I got distracted by the Rockies' 22-55 away record from home. That's pitiful, man. I'm sorry. Like, I know I've harped on it. I know there's been good teams. I get the situation. But the Rockies being this bad on the road and continuing to be such a big part of their identity, so lame. I just can't believe that's something that they sit there and just call an anomaly and course field effect and blah, blah, blah. You don't look into it enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get set off here. The point is, it's another test for young Rockies players. It's another opportunity for the Rockies to be like, hey, this is a playoff game, right? If you want to simulate a playoff game, if you want to simulate a playoff style environment, treat it that way. Treat this as going in there as an elimination game against the best pitcher the opposition has. See if that helps. Just go up. The problem is it's a quality approach at the dish. And I don't know how much Skubal actually lets you even get a quality approach at the dish. I just want to see the Rockies rise up to the challenge. And in this series, they have not done a lot of rising up. Showed a little fight yesterday, but this series has been mostly blown out of the water. Folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. For your second listen, go check out Locked On MLB with our pal Sully. And if you need more Colorado sports coverage, Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, Locked On Nuggets, Locked On Buffs, all free and streaming on your favorite streaming services. They got you covered there for all your Colorado sports needs. We'll be reacting to the series tomorrow, looking ahead to the Cubs series, and a whole lot more in the next episode of Locked On Rockies. So make sure you're subscribed to that YouTube channel so you don't miss out. And until next time, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.